A special thanks goes out to Durante, who sent me an article entitled, quote, "It's exhausting. I'm bored of being married to Mr. Perfect. I wish he'd cheat so I could feel better about myself." Now, the article was written by Claire O'Reilly, who's a 40-year-old woman married to a 46-year-old man by the name of John. They've been married for 17 years. Right off the bat, she has already given herself away as a wife who has cheated on her husband. It is plainly obvious, and I am near 100% certain she has, and on more than one occasion. You see, people who feel guilty about getting away with certain things always secretly wish that karma would come into play and right all their wrongs and bring balance back to the universe. Perfectly normal feeling. For example, if you stole $10 from someone and got away with it, you'd feel guilty and secretly wish that someone would come and steal $10 from you. Or if you accidentally dented someone's car when you opened your car door, you'd wish that someone would do the same to you. Simple math. But what you wouldn't wish for is for someone to steal your life savings because you got away with stealing a measly $10. You wouldn't want someone to rear end you going 50 miles an hour to right the wrong of a small dent caused by your door. This woman said, "I wish he'd cheat so I can feel better about myself," and literally gave away the fact that she's cheated on her husband. Now, it would be different if she got away with buying things without his permission, or if she said she cleaned the oven and really just hired someone else to do it. Little white lies. Oh no, this woman says she wishes her husband would cheat to make her feel better about herself because she has cheated on her husband. No woman ever says, "I'm such a lazy wife. I never clean up. I'm bad at laundry, and I never iron his clothes. Gee, I wish he'd cheat on me to make me feel better about the fact that I'm a lazy homemaker." Of course not. She wished that he were more of a slob or left his dirty clothes on the floor. So right out of the gate, she has already revealed to those in the know that she is a cheating wife, and her reasoning throughout this article will clearly show that she has been unfaithful to him. Before I continue, let me quickly remind you to sign up for text notifications when I release videos just like this one so you'll never miss a live premiere again. Just text TSR to 474747. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. Also, be sure to check out my 5-part 7-hour audio course, How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up. I cover everything from the vetting process to establishing and enforcing boundaries to how to rock her world in the bedroom. To get your hands on this tried and true actionable advice that I use in my own relationship, go to donovansharpe.com/courses. The link is in the description. Okay, let's get back to the article. It starts, quote, "I should have gotten inkling of my husband's perfect moral fiber when we were dating back in 2002. I called in sick to work, planning to surprise him as he worked from home. However, when I turned up with thoughts of a long, lazy romantic lunch, he refused to ditch his responsibilities even though we were supposed to be in the first throes of love. I married Mr. Perfect anyway, but his ridiculous moral compass has become a bone of contention." When she says she married him anyway, she is telling us in no uncertain terms that men with perfect moral fiber are not attractive to her. Her husband doesn't give her tingles anymore. She was when they first met, but as soon as he told her, "I will not cancel my plan so I can spend an afternoon eating good food and having bedroom fun with you, because I'm a man of my word and my word is my bond." So she married him anyway, which says that she didn't want to because he is attractive rather than arousing. There is a difference. But she took the plunge anyway, knowing full well that she'd probably be cheating on him before the ink dried on their marriage certificate. She knew that she would achieve the dualistic dating strategy here in 2020 women exercise all the time. Simply put, she says, "I'm bored of being married to a paragon of virtue." This just goes to show that what women say they want and what they actually want are two very different things. Every woman says they want to be married to a paragon of virtue because it makes them look like, well, paragons of virtue themselves. Like attracts like, right? She can't say, "I want a tatted up guy who participates in illegal underground fight clubs with a criminal record who may or may not have an outstanding warrant for his arrest," because that would make her look bad. So to save face, they say they want a man who's honest. They say they want a man who's virtuous. They say they want a man who has great moral character. But here's the reality. That's not what they want, at least not as long as they can still attract the bad boys. No, they only become attracted to these boring paragons of virtue when they run out of options, just like Sheryl Sandberg so accurately predicts in her advice to young women when it comes to their dating lives. She continues, "He is so unlike me, it's disarming, but it turns out I'm not alone. New research from the University of Amsterdam has found, while it is beneficial in Mother Nature for species to be similar, it is not as straightforward when it comes to humans. Guys, this is a non-factor. Yes, species being similar benefits Mother Nature, but the difference between humans and every other species is our ability to reason. The fact that this Amsterdam study didn't scrap the whole thing for that very reason just goes to show that this was a useless study performed by useless people. But for the sake of argument, let's take a look at what this study revealed, because it actually contradicts itself. It says, quote, "The study looked at personality traits of 4,464 couples and found agreeableness, a trait associated with trust and empathy, in both partners is vital for a relationship to succeed. But researchers also found that when one partner is conscientious, the coupling can actually work better if the other is less so. Which may go some way," she continues, "to explaining why John and I have lasted so long. After a small praying in the car a few years ago, our insurance company informed us that we were entitled to sue the other driver for injuries amounting to around 6,000 British pounds. As neither of us was injured, John refused to take on the elderly driver despite the figures at play, because it would be dishonest. It's not just big issues either." One thing I constantly teach on my private live streams on Patreon is that relationships should have polarity. In other words, if you have too much in common personality and habit-wise with your significant other, it's not going to work as well as if you have personality traits that are diametrically opposed to one another. I'll use my own relationship as an example. I am an extrovert. My girlfriend is an introvert. I am intense. She is laid back. I am freakishly disciplined. She is not. I like to wake up early. She likes to sleep in. I like to talk, and she likes to listen. We could not be more different as people, but one of the reasons we work, at least for the time being, is because of the polarity. If she were as intense and as socially dominant as I am, we wouldn't work because we're too much alike. We'd probably fight, yell, and scream all the time. It just wouldn't work. Well, it's the same as on the other end. If I were as docile, laid back, and liked to sleep in like she did, nothing would ever get done around here. We'd be as boring a couple as they come, and we'd bore each other to death. That wouldn't work either. I'm the queen of the last-minute cancellation, she says, thinking nothing of scrapping dinner arrangements with friends just hours before we are due, whereas John sticks to his commitments. My girl is actually the same way. What she'll do is she'll offer to do something or go somewhere just to be nice, but then when they take her up on the offer and the time comes to do what she said she was going to do, she has a tendency to want to back out. I never let her do it. A while back, a friend of hers was going through a pretty tough breakup, and she might have needed to rehome her pets. My girlfriend told her that she might be able to take in some of the pets, but I told her no. Don't tell people you're going to do something if you're not willing to do it. Now, this isn't as much about lack of moral fiber as it is about her wanting to be nice and ease her friend's burden or pain by saying whatever it is she has to say to make her friend feel better. This isn't a bad thing morally, but by the same token, if you know you're not going to be able to do something, then don't commit to it. My girlfriend is selfless to a fault, and it can sometimes get her into a little bit of trouble. But the point is that being the queen of the last-minute cancellation is indicative of the female gender as a whole. This is just what women do. Men stick to their word, women do not. So in this regard, there's nothing really special or unique about either one of them. Don't get me wrong, she continues, I love him, and this year we celebrated 17 years together, 13 of them married. But I wish he'd lie, cheat, defame, or slander just once so that I could feel better about my own less than perfect character. Guys, less than perfect character doesn't rise to infidelity, unless, of course, that less than perfect character involves infidelity. Guys, I love how she's admitting to us that she's cheated without actually calling it cheating. When she says, feel better about my own less than perfect character, what she's really saying is, I wish he would cheat so I could feel better about cheating. And so I know that other women want him. Because as we all know, women don't want men that other women don't want. This guy's moral fiber isn't only a turnoff to his wife, it's a turnoff to everyone he knows with 2X chromosomes. She continues, while John is quiet and unassuming, I'm the extrovert. He is definitely made up of all the traits I'm missing entirely. His moral compass, she says, will follow him into the grave, but no one will eulogize about my fair nature or loyal friendship. So she's the extrovert and he's the introvert. Guys, this is bad on all fronts. And the reason why is because women who are extroverted are far more likely to cheat. Now, did I see this in a study or some sort of survey? Nope. But I know this is true, and the reason is obvious. Let me explain. Women who are extroverted draw more attention to themselves as a natural byproduct of their personalities. When a woman draws more attention to herself, she gets more attention from men. Now, men who watch my content know that women lack impulse control with every conceivable vice there is, not the least of which is men. So the more attention a woman gets from men, the more opportunities she'll get to step out on her husband. And most of the time, these women, again, lacking impulse control, will yield to temptation far more often than not as a natural consequence of more opportunities being afforded them by their outgoing and extroverted personalities. This is why I always stress to men, if you're looking for a significant other who is less likely to step out on you, look for the girl who is introverted. She doesn't have to be a socially awkward person like Adrienne Balboa, but if she is the life of the party type, she is going to ruin your life. Now, this isn't to say that introverted girls aren't capable of cheating on you and ruining your life. If anything, they're actually better at it because they're doing it on the sly. But nothing is guaranteed. And because of that, as men, we simply have to play the odds. And the bottom line is that extroverted girls are more likely to cheat because their personalities create more opportunities. Again, this isn't saying that introverted girls don't cheat, because they most certainly do, but they are less likely to because they don't get as many opportunities as a girl who commands attention wherever she goes. And by the way, women are never eulogized for their fair nature and loyal friendship. Women are not loyal creatures, guys. Now, this doesn't necessarily make them bad, but just because a certain woman may have a few good traits, you can bet your bottom dollar that loyalty and fairness will not be one of them. If that's what you're looking for in a woman, you will never find it ever. Keep that in the front of your mind, guys. I haven't stayed friends with anyone from school, she says, while John's tight-knit circle has been the same since he was 10. They are godfathers to our kids, Eddie, Sammy, and Annie. I say this all the time, guys. Women aren't really friends with each other. They just tolerate each other between fights as long as there is a benefit to being friends with each other. Women hate each other because they know each other. Women know that they themselves are not virtuous creatures. They know they are not loyal. So when they become friends with each other, they never really expect to be friends for too long because they know that betrayal, lying, or any other number of things will probably happen that are directly related to the female id, none of which are conducive to a lifelong friendship. Most women have friends for a maximum of maybe 3 to 5 years. Every 3 to 5 years, their friendships turn over and they get a new group of friends. That's just how they are. And because of this, women are rarely lifelong friends. Men are completely the opposite. Unless you were raised on military bases like I was, most men are friends with each other until they're in the grave. But it is just not his general decency that's hard to stomach, she continues. He is a better spouse than I am. If I told him on Friday I was spending Saturday chilling at a spa, he'd probably drop me off there so I didn't have to drive, then take the kids to their clubs before making sure the house was tidy. This was oddly specific, as in this has happened before. As in she cheated using this very technique before, and I will tell you exactly how this probably went down. Stay with me here. On Friday, she and Kevin in sales planned an afternoon bedroom session. So she told her husband she was spending Saturday chilling at the spa. He dropped her off, but it wasn't because he didn't want her to drive or to be a good husband. Oh no, it was because she asked him to drop her off. Now, why would she do this? Simple. If she doesn't have a car, he can't know where she is. If he sees her car at the spa, he could go into the spa and see that she's not there. And at that point, the jig is up. He knows that she is somewhere she shouldn't be, and there is no explanation for her whereabouts except the truth, which is with Kevin getting her back blown out. Women cannot help themselves, guys. Women who aren't BPD or dark triad, which is 99.9% of women, always reveal the truth one way or another. Listen, they try their hardest to hide the truth, but their hard drives just don't know how. This woman could have used any scenario, but instead, she used the scenario that she's used in the past. And the reason we know this is because of how specific she was. Just last week, she continues, he went out with a friend for a long-planned pint, and I was in a foul mood before he went because I had to put the washing away and make the kids packed lunches. This right here just shows the typical selfishness that women exhibit even when their husbands deserve to blow off steam as a result of making sure that she could have a relaxing afternoon with Kevin. It is never enough for women. No matter how much you do for a woman of poor quality, it is never enough for them. They always want more. This dude drove her to the spa, took the kids to their clubs, and made sure she had a clean house to come home to so she could wash Kevin off and out of her. But she's still salty about him having a drink with his buddies? You can't make this stuff up, guys. This is how today's women are. He is selfless to the same degree I'm selfish, she says, which according to the research can sometimes work. The worst part is that I'm constantly around a level of virtue that is completely unattainable in my own life. Here we go with the research again, which is 100% BS. She's trying to give herself permission to do all of the taking while he does all of the giving so she doesn't have to feel guilty about it. I said before that Devin, my girlfriend, is selfless to a fault, especially with me. She never asks me for anything, but she still gives me everything. Now, the reason she gives me her all and never asks for anything in return is because she gets a lot of immediate benefits of being with me. Number one, I pay all the bills, which allows her to put her entire paycheck in savings. So that's the financial benefit. Number two, I keep her in line, which keeps her happy and relaxed. Number three, I am capable of physically protecting her. Number four, I invest in her by hiring her a personal trainer who comes here every day to keep her body tight. Number four, I built a home gym that rivals most fitness clubs so she can work out with her trainer in the privacy of her own home. And of course, number five, I offer her companionship. Me and my girlfriend, we laugh together, we have a good time, we have good conversation, we watch movies, we go on dates. All of these things are important to all women, and Devin gets all of these benefits because she has my commitment. But make no mistake, guys, she would not be this good to me if she didn't get anything in return. Just because someone is selfless does not mean that they don't want or need a return on their investment. Women of quality never keep score. They'll never say, hey, I did this for you, so you have to do this for me. But that doesn't mean they'll stick around if they're doing all of the giving and getting absolutely nothing in return. This poor excuse of a wife is using research that this can sometimes work to tamp down the anxiety that comes with knowing that she is with a man she knows she doesn't deserve and hopes against all hope he doesn't wake up and figure it out. By doing absolutely nothing other than being himself, she continues, John constantly makes me look at where I'm falling short and what I'm doing wrong without so much of an utterance. It is infuriating. I know I'm fortunate to have such a decent, giving, kind chap, but it is honestly exhausting being married to someone whose moral fiber is so perfect. So now Claire is pissed off that he makes her look at where she's falling short and what she's doing wrong simply by being himself? So let me get this straight. You're morally bankrupt, are a bad wife and mother while he's a great father and husband, and you're pissed at him for actually making you think about your frailties? I cannot repeat this enough, guys. This is how today's women are. This is what we're dealing with. This chick is mad that her husband is such a good man, it highlights her failures as a woman, and she indirectly blames it on him, and it causes her to secretly resent him. So much to the point to where she's had affairs, plural, in the past. What this comes down to is that a woman who is complaining that she has a good man is comically tragic. We've got females the world over who constantly moan and groan about how men are garbage. Where have all the good men gone and this and that? And here is a woman who lucked out and locked down a good man, but now she's complaining about him? Women always talk about, I wish I had a man who was honest. I wish I had a man that wouldn't cheat. I wish I had a man with high moral fiber. But then when they actually get one, they complain. Typical female. Gentlemen, this article is the quintessential example of the typical Western female. She says she wants one thing when she really wants another. The reason she wants her husband to cheat is because she has cheated. She wants him to be immoral in some way because she knows she's immoral to the core. She wants him to wrong her in some way because she knows she's wronged him in many ways. She knows that she is lucky to be with a man of higher value who doesn't realize just how much higher his value is than hers. And that's exactly what upsets her. And it's the same reason why that girls who sleep around always treat you like garbage when you treat them well. Like Claire, women who sleep around know they're not worth committing to. They know they're good for nothing more than bedroom fun. They know this. So when a man comes along and shows an ineptitude in not only not recognizing she's not worth committing to, but also makes the egregious mistake of treating her like a woman of quality, they resent him. They resent him because they're thinking subconsciously, how on earth can this dude not know I'm worthless? I've got a tramp stamp with my ex's name. I told him I had 2 abortions, and I cheated on my ex with him. How can he not know I'm not worth it? These thoughts manifest themselves through bad behavior, such as throwing fits all the time, disrespectful behavior, and of course, cheating. Women of low quality punish men for not recognizing that they're low quality, and that is the answer to the question every man asks himself when they find content like mine, which is, why is it that the better I treat women, the worse they treat me? Guys, you need to bookmark this article and read it once a month to drill in your skulls that low-quality women do not want men who are quiet and unassuming. They do not want a man of high moral character. They do not want what they define as a good man. These women, these damaged women, they want men who are over-the-top, socially dominant D-bags who disrespect them, cheat on them, give them anxiety, and sleep with their friends. They'll tell people this isn't what they want, But then when you see that men who treat her like garbage always get her best, you start to wonder, why is it that she says she hates players, but they always seem to have her attention? Why do these players get texted back immediately? Why does she let these guys stick around for so long when they treat her like absolute garbage? Well, the simple answer to that question is that she's not a woman of quality. If you haven't heard anything I've said to this point, remember this and listen good. Women of quality reward good behavior. Females of low quality punish it. Claire O'Reilly is doing what every woman who's been passed around does when they get lucky and lock down a man of value. They complain that he's just too good a man and acts as though it's some sort of problem that's his fault. Anytime a woman complains about her man being too perfect and being bored with it, it is a dead giveaway that she's got a notch count probably into the triple digits. Good women simply do not complain about good men. That's all there is to it. So fellas, what are your thoughts on Claire O'Reilly and women like her? And ladies, am I being too hard on her, or is there some truth in what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below. And for less than the cost of a day at the spa, you can watch my live streams on weekday afternoons at 4:30 Eastern. I discuss topics like this, break down articles, and examine dating shows from a masculine perspective. You can also get access to my archive, which contains past episodes, as well as my Sunday webinars. Just go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. The link is in the description.